Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Elash Apartment Connection, where we bring people together and share the tips, tools, and insights that will help you become a successful apartment investor and take back your time so you can do what you want and reconnect with those special people in your life. We know your time is valuable, and we really appreciate you all being here tonight. The Elash mission is to enhance lives, and one of the ways we do that is by offering completely passive investments that provide income and grow your wealth, which allows busy people like you to start freeing your time. Now, investing in apartments can be scary if you don't know what you're doing, so stick around as we jump to the details. So tonight we are talking about vetting sponsors, and joining us this evening is Mr. TJ Lokboj. TJ is an entrepreneur with a passion for adding value to the real estate investing industry through adopting a digital transformation. He is the managing partner of Holdfolio, co-founder of Sponsor Cloud, and a member of the Forbes Real Estate Council. TJ, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, excited to be here with you, Matt. Thanks for inviting me.
Would you like to start off by telling us a little bit about how you got started and what you're working on now?
Absolutely. So appreciate it again for the opportunity to come on. You're a good friend of mine, Matt. Love what you stand for here with Elash Apartment Connection, and I've made some great valuable connections through this group as well. So a little bit about me. I got my start in real estate as I was working in my tech job. My background's in technology, software as a service, sales and marketing. And while all of my colleagues were, you can make good money doing technology sales, and I found myself kind of in an inflection point of, hey, should I buy the big house and the cars and the leases, or should I think about investing? And so luckily I had a really great mentor who was a real estate investor that turned me on to investing in small multifamily. So my first deal that I ever invested in was a small fourplex here in Bountiful, Utah, which is the state that I reside in. And that was my first deal. And I did what's the industry called a house hack. This is a very long time ago before it was a popular thing, but I house hacked my first 4-unit where my wife and I, when we were just starting our family, we purchased that 4-unit apartment, lived in 1 unit and then rented the other 3 units. Soon after, we invested in a storage unit, and as I acquired more knowledge and network, I was able to do my first deal through my first syndication, which is pulling money together with a group of passive investors where you would manage a project and execute on that business plan and project for you and your investors. And so did my first syndication on a 30-unit apartment, which was an out-of-state deal. And then things have grown since. I had merged with one of my partners, and now we have a firm called Holdfolio. So we've been doing Holdfolio. It's a firm that's been established since 2014, and I merged with Holdfolio so that we can partner together to expand both of our portfolios. And so today, Holdfolio is a boutique investment firm that focuses on bridging the gap and allowing retail investors and passive investors to access institutional level deals. And so that's what we're doing today. Along with Holdfolio, I'm also the co-founder of a investment management platforms called Sponsor Cloud. In Sponsor Cloud, we provide solutions for deal sponsors to raise capital more effectively through our investment management portal. We also have different integrated services like fund administration, fund accounting, and tax compliance to serve deal sponsors as a all-in-one stop shop to help them grow their business and portfolio. So that was long-winded, Matt, but yeah, that's what I'm doing today, and happy to be here to visit with you.
All right, awesome. Love it. All right, talking about vetting sponsors, I like to refer to finding a sponsor like electing your own personal president. So essentially, for the next 4 years, there's nothing we can do to change who is in office and who's in charge of our money. So it's extremely important to ensure we vet the person we elect to govern our resources. So TJ, what are some tips or strategies that you have for first-time passive investors as it relates to finding their first investment?
I love that analogy. I love that example of you electing, your first president as, when you're choosing a deal sponsor to partner on a deal with. And that's what you really have to look at when you're a passive investor is you are analyzing the deal sponsor and their team and their experience, don't discount that, because that's probably one of the most important pieces of your due diligence as an investor, is looking at that. And so you want to create your own criteria as an investor, and be disciplined when you're making investments, and really focus on that criteria. And so one of our criteria is to choose the best deal sponsors to work with. And there's certain things that we look at, such as their time in the industry, how long they've been investing, how many full cycle deals or deals that they've gone from start, acquiring to exiting. And then another thing is, that along with experiences, what does their team look like, their operations, what does their track record look like? Have they lost money? Have they done capital calls? Things like that. These are all things that are very important and that you want to lean in on when you're making those investments. So hopefully I answered the question there, Matt, but it's very important for you to make sure that you're partnering with the right team, and you should set your own criteria to make sure that you have a guidance on how you're making your investments.
Yeah, exactly. And in your mind, what's more important, looking at the sponsor, the deal, or both?
I think that looking at either the deal sponsor, the deal, these are all very important factors to consider, and some things may add a certain level of risk. So for us, the way that we look at making investments is first looking at the team and the deal sponsor, the one who's operating the project, because you can have a phenomenal deal, but have a deal sponsor that's not experienced, or has a lack of insight on how to do things correctly. And really, you're not trying to recreate the wheel. You want to make sure that these deal sponsors that you're partnering with have the experience and the track record. And if not, you want to definitely make sure you factor that into your analysis and overall view of the risk profile of this investment. So for me, deal sponsor is a non-negotiable. It's something that we heavily vet out, and we perform strong due diligence on the partners that we'll be investing alongside with. And that right there almost always is a level one criteria before we actually get into the market and the deal. So I would say that's because of that nature is more important to us.
Awesome. Can you give us an example of a mistake that you or someone else has made when getting a sponsor?
Absolutely. As you know, our due diligence criteria has evolved based on these mistakes, right? And some of them are things like communication. First you're working with deal sponsors prior to you making an investment. Everything is rosy. It's a dating stage, but as things start becoming real in that cycle, the true colors come out, right? And so for us, simple things like communication, how the communication has evolved. We have certain criteria. For example, if we're in the due diligence phase and we're asking for documents and it takes them 2 days to get to us, that's a red flag, right? We want to have someone that's extremely responsive, because if they're not responsive now, before you make the investment, they're not going to be as responsive post making an investment. And so for us, communication is key. Asking questions like, right now, a lot of an important thing is delayed K1s. We really try to mitigate that. Some of the times you don't have control over that, depending on how things operate within that firm. However, simply asking those questions, how have you all done in terms of sending your K1s on time in this year or last year? And so it's the small details that matter. And so we've made a lot of mistakes, but we have a really strong track record in finding the right partners and finding the right investments overall. But certainly I think that what has led from those mistakes is creating a more ironclad criteria and process of vetting out deal sponsors.
I love that. We all make mistakes, and then just learning from them is just how we get better.
Yep, that's exactly right, Matt.
So how do you determine if a sponsor's underwriting is conservative or not?
Yeah, absolutely. So for us, as I mentioned, the criteria, it's very important for you to be disciplined. I personally am not underwriting these deals myself. We have my partner Jacob Blackett in our acquisitions team that focuses on that. I've primarily focused on the capital markets investor side and business development. However, having that discipline, the criteria, and knowing what to look for is very important. You'll be able to spot whether someone is over projecting or not being realistic in those, details, whether it's the debt or interest rates, or, that's something that has really caught everyone off guard and has helped us review kind of how we're analyzing and underwriting these deals ourselves, right? So for us, it's just about being disciplined with your principles and your criterias and your process of analyzing deals. And so, a lot of the times you can kind of sniff that out when you're working with inexperienced versus experienced investors, right? So, anyways, hopefully that answered your question there.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things we always do, we make sure we're underwriting a deal that, if we're going to invest in it, fully underwrite, just to make sure we're on the same page.
Yep. That's right. Yeah, we do the same. Before we invest in a deal, we ask for the underwriting model, and we go through our own set of underwritings as well.
Love it. Let's talk a little bit about documents. So how important is it for investors to read the PPM before investing?
You should know what you're investing in. If it's your first time, I definitely would recommend you working with someone who's more familiar, whether it's an attorney. I would highly recommend that for sure. But yeah, a lot of the times these PPMs are super bulky and complicated, so it tends to scare investors. But you don't want to be a lazy investor. You want to be an investor who's looking at the details and the fine print, know the structures and everything around the deal, so that you are making a strong investment and one that is well informed.
All right, awesome. So when in doubt, read the PPM and
That's
get an
right.
attorney to look at it.
Yep, that's right.
All right. And that is it for us at the Elash Apartment Connection. Thank you everyone for being here with us tonight, especially our esteemed guest, TJ. We will now split up everyone into breakout rooms for networking, get connected, build those relationships, and we'll see you later.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you.
Thanks, TJ.